but Belterre does have, I
They have a
think,
lot of private
lifeguarded beaches.
Yeah, the one, I think one.
The
right?
one, and so that's what, I did look at theirs, and, it all just narrows its focus to that swimming beaches rules. And they're very specific about when you can and can't be there, and all the different things that don't really apply to our little waterfront.
Okay, item number 9, we have to get new computers for the Village Hall, we can't wait, okay? We're at the point now that they can't work. Cindy sat here yesterday for 5-6 hours waiting for the computer to come on. Natalie got here at 7 o'clock in the morning, couldn't write checks till 10 o'clock. They're crashing by the second, so, when we get to the resolutions, how many bids did you get? You got 2, 3?
2. We had the one from Max, and we had one gentleman come in and sat down with me and gave me a quote. That's all we got.
How much was his quote, do you remember?
$4,800 just for the equipment,
Okay,
not
so,
counting any installation.
okay, so Axe will do it for $4,800, but they'll install it. We're not gonna have a server anymore, we're gonna go with the cloud. And we have to do it. We have to approve the resolution, and tomorrow I have to call them and say, order this, and if you can get it here Monday, get it here Monday. Because we almost didn't have paychecks today, okay? So we're holding up, running the village over these computers. So that's where we're at with that.
Mine's going
No pressure on the vote.
No pressure, I'm just letting you know, if you wanna get, well, you don't get paid, but if you wanna get paid next week,
Mine's going on first too.
yeah.
And
Yours is the best one out of all of them, but I think it's,
I experienced it this morning, same thing as we had to do.
How old?
Yes, Cindy did it.
4 years, 5 years old.
It never sounds good at home.
Yeah. Well, when you should go home, make tea, come back, and the service, still didn't come up yet. Okay, and then the budget, you have in front of you is for from August 31st, 2017. It's, we just started with the budget. We really need to keep an eye on the budget this year, more than normal. We have additional expenses. We have the lawsuit for the election that was close to $18,000. So either something's not gonna get done, or we have to either bring in more revenue, or we have to save money somewhere. So I think each month, everyone should be looking at this and trying to figure out what we can do to make up that $18,000. Item number 11, the planning board asked that we schedule a public hearing to make revisions to the new dock law. They're asking that we change 4 feet of mean high tide to 3.5 feet, and that we make a adjustment for the ADA ramp. I'm actually working with Nelson and Hope, not Voorhees, to submit the ADA ramp to the town of Brookhaven with hopes that they'll help fund it, if not the whole thing, a part of it. So I'll let you know how that goes. And they're also requesting, the planning board would like to be able to do web training with NICOM online. I've done it before, it's excellent. I think it's $20 or $25 a class. So I don't see any reason for them not to be able to do that. They just do it wherever they are, at work or at home or wherever. Do you have any?
So we should authorize that.
We should.
In a motion.
Okay, right now you want
I think that's a good idea, authorize, and it should be all the boards, I think.
Okay, so if any, the planning board, the board of trustees, or the zoning board wants to do NICOM web training, that will approve it?
Yes.
Okay. Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor? Okay. Do you have any open items, Jeff?
Just, a couple of things. One of the things that happened in the planning board was the planning board adopted lead agency status, and for purposes of the secret with regard to the dock.
Community doc, okay. Was that on Monday?
That was, yes.
Okay.
So that was dealt with. We have one lawsuit continuing against the ZBA, which is the Ashley Holmes, I think it is, lawsuit. It has to do with Morton Manor, and that case was filed several months ago. At the time it was filed, I made a motion to dismiss on behalf of the village. The property owner has not yet responded to the motion to dismiss.
Okay. When do they have to respond
Yesterday.
by? Okay.
And so that's pending. on that lawsuit, I just want to mention, I was going to mention this later, but on that lawsuit, when it came in, we referred it to the insurance company. The insurance company said that they wouldn't defend us, but they would pay for the first $5,000 of our legal fees. So we should,
What's it up to now?
I think it's like $1,600 or something. So we should be sending the bills to the insurance company. I don't know if we did that on the election litigation, but we should, I'll follow up with Joe Newfield and see if we can do the same thing.
We contacted them for that, didn't we, Joe?
Yeah.
And I think we're denied, right?
Yeah.
Mhm.
We were denied, did they say they would pay any defense, or they, no, okay,
Yeah.
all right, sorry. The other thing that happened with the planning was that, they, the board discussed the dock inspections. You didn't just mention this, right?
No,
No.
you know what, I just realized I had that too.
No, it's okay, so they have a few quotes. I think one quote, they reached out to try to get a couple quotes, so they got one response so far. And so they're working with that, they're trying to figure out the parameters of the inspection based on the code, and then what's being offered by the company that responded. They're looking for other quotes. The cost of the inspection gets passed to the dock owners, so it shouldn't be an impact on the village.
I saw the checklist, did they do that, or did that come from the company from InterScience, do you know?
I'm not sure.
Okay,
Interesting.
it came from InterScience, okay.
I think the checklist actually started with the board, and I sent it to that guy several months ago, and he sent it back.
Okay.
So they're both thinking along the same lines. I think it actually originated with the Army Corps.
Okay,
There's several enforcement cases I'm working on with code at this time. I don't want to discuss them, but I just want to let you know that I'm working with Frank and his staff on several cases. One of the things we're dealing with in the village continually now is FOIL requests. Because of the number that we have, they're backing up. We don't have to allocate more than a certain percentage of time or number of hours every day to responding to FOIL requests, and I encourage the staff not to do that. I mean, we are working on the ones that we have come in as best we can. I just make a comment, a lot of the ones that have come in are for court documents. Court documents are not foilable. So that ends up being the result in some of the cases.
okay.
Copies of things that go to court are not, the records that are actually with the court are not foilable.
So kind of like a complaint, if there was a complaint and you needed foiled, or what I spoke to Frank, he said I have to foil for something. So does that have to be foiled? 'Cause
Well,
it's in the
okay.
process.
So
He
there's,
says it has to go to you for an exception, an exemption or exception. You have to send something to Joe. I'm just trying to find the process out because I need this for something. So he says, write to Joe to have it foiled. It goes to you to be looked at, the letters that
we generally have a process now where
He
we
says there
have
might be
to,
exemptions to it, so I don't know what that was, or exceptions, or...
well, not referring to any specific case. Generally, what we do is there's a process where 2 or 3 people look at the foils that come in, just to get figure out how we're going to accommodate it, what records we have that are responsive, if we have any. And then also, we have a responsibility to determine whether or not there's what's called an exemption or exception, meaning that the records are not foilable. So you mentioned a complaint. If there is a verbal complaints, are not foilable because there's no document. If there's a written complaint, what's happening recently now is the New York State Office of Committee on Open Government is trying to get municipalities to release written complaints with redactions. So a lot of the complaint, if it is responded to with a copy of it, a lot of the complaint that would make it attributable to the complainer is going to be redacted. So if somebody gets a complaint against them, and they would ask for a copy of it, if it is released, it's not going to have the information in there about who made the complaint, and so people don't have to worry about that. But that's.
What about like a letter that's needed for something else?
Well, it's on an
Like,
individual basis, right? Don't you have to look at each one and say?
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So there's You know, from time to time, we get requests regarding investigate, another thing that's not foilable is investigations. Any document that might inhibit or affect an investigation, either its proceeding or its outcome, is not foilable.
Okay.
So if we're doing an investigation, or if an outside agency is doing an investigation, and a record here is foilable, is requested, we might determine that that's exempt, because it's.
Maybe we should see what's foilable, what's not foilable, and is that with that streamlined a little bit, so this way people always spend time foiling and expect a response, or?
Well, generally, everything is foilable, every document is foilable unless it's in one of the exemptions. The exemptions are in the public officers law, they're actually
Right.
listed, so we wouldn't, we could adopt a policy which lists the exemptions,
Right.
but they're basically going to be copied from the exemptions that are in the law. We don't have the right to create any other exemptions.
Right.
Which law, who has the?
Pardon? It's New York State Public Officers Law, and it's sections 86 through 89.
It seems to me that we should have something like that in our code. I mean, this is an example of where it's out there, but it's in the state thing, and the average person who might want to know the answer to this, doesn't it sound like we should have what our policy is regarding this?
It would be a
Does it affect
policy,
that
wouldn't
Would be their policy, we follow this.
Well, then
So-
we just take it and stick it in our code. Don't you think it should be in there? No, I hate to.
I can give you
I'm
How's
just
Brennan's
saying,
name?
What's usually
it's
like a turnaround
consistent with
before
what,
though?
it's just consistent.
You have 5 days to respond to it, how long until you?
Well, no, we have 5 business days to acknowledge receipt of the
Okay.
FOIL. And then after that, we have 20 business days to respond.
Okay,
Unless there's, some reason, the reasons are, it's the volume or complexity of the response, the request for the response. There's the person has made a number of FOIL requests, and this is, number 5 or 10 or something of their FOIL requests, and we're still trying to work on the other ones because they're so voluminous. That's another reason for potential delay past the 20 days. So
Well, we
people
don't have the
that,
manpower either.
well, you're not required to spend more than a certain number of hours or time, to deal with FOIL requests. And so if people that pile on FOIL requests should expect that they are creating their own problem basically, because we can't hire people and commit the people that are here just to deal with their FOIL requests. We're not required to do that above a certain amount.
What was,
no, it's good, sorry.
the New York State, what was the code where that followed?
It's New York State Public Officers Law, and it's sections 86 through 89. And you can go on, if you just Google laws of New York, you'll come up with the New York State Assembly or New York State Legislature, and you can pick off Public Officers Law.
Anything else?
And then the other thing is, if you, I'm sorry, just mention, if you go in the New York State Office Committee on Open Government, if you go in their website, you can search certain things that are foilable or not foilable. The problem is that that's an advisory agency only, and they basically say that everything's foilable. So, there may be some disagreement, but generally we go by their guidelines.
So is it possible that you might form for something, you'll just won't get the answer for it, is that?
No, we always
No,
send
you'll
the
get
answers.
an
Send it
answer,
back.
yeah.
Okay.
So you'll initially, people that are sending in FOIL requests now will in 5 business days, they'll get an acknowledgement of the receipt of the request.
Right.
And it'll give them a date that they can expect a response. That date will generally be given as 20 business days. You may actually get it a lot sooner, but we have to, the problem is we're getting so many of these FOIL requests now, particularly from, so that we have to manage. We have to manage this. Some people will make electronic requests, and I will not respond to them electronically. I will respond to them only in writing. So some people may be waiting for that also. They may be sending in electronic requests, but I will not respond to them electronically for various reasons.
Anything else you want to cover?
I think we covered the litigation. Does anybody have any questions for that? Oh, I wanted to say, no, I think that's it.
Any other business?
Yes. This is the time of the year when we hit all of our contract obligations. The first one I'm looking at is our snow removal. I'd like to have the board's permission to put a notice in the paper on the November 9th meeting that we would have a bid opening for snow removal. Immediately after that, in December, we'll be looking at the landscape contract, and immediately after that, we'll be looking, or simultaneously, the garbage contract also.
For the November 9th meeting?
Yeah.
Is garbage up already? Didn't we have 3 years?
It's 3 years.
Oh, wow, see, time goes fast.
Time goes fast.
You want to do that in December too, you said?
I think we'll try to piggyback those two in December, right?
Okay, so I have a motion that Clerk Newfield can notice accordingly snow bids, public snow bids for November 9th meeting and for our December meeting for the landscaping contract and garbage removal. Have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Alright.
I would like to go into executive session to ask the village attorney a legal question. Do you have a motion? I need someone to motion on.
Motion.
Motion? Okay.
Second.